February 1945, the Pacific prepares its blood-soaked altar of fire.
Engineers reshape ordinary tanks into fire-breathing beasts for an unforgiving island. Creation and destruction share the same hands. Only the purpose divides them.
Every line on paper becomes a grave when theory meets the battlefield.
Metal roars like a living creature, indifferent to the screams it replaces. Volatility is both weapon and weakness when courage meets chemistry and fear. They named it CBH-1, crude in form, divine in its destruction.
Prepare for Iwo Jima. All personnel, effective immediately.
Orders feel heavier when you understand exactly what your machine will do.
Departure tastes like salt and oil, the twin perfumes of war.
Dreams flicker with fire. Nightmares continue when the eyes reopen again.
Distance offers no mercy, only time to imagine what awaits ashore.
The island burns already, yet demands more fire to surrender its soul. Faith becomes metal. Fear becomes motion. Hesitation dies beneath command. The beach devours men and machines alike, indifferent to their uniforms.
Preparation is calm deception, hiding panic under layers of procedure.
Within seconds, defense turns to silence. Morality dissolves in smoke. Claustrophobia and duty fuse together in a chamber of roaring steel. Target! 2 o'clock! Fire!
Every side prays to a god that never visits the battlefield.
Organization amid madness. The only art soldiers truly perfect.
Light competes with light, yet none reveals redemption in this glare.
Logistics is courage disguised as routine, repeated until numbness wins.
Victory measures itself not in ground gained, but lives uncounted. The island hides its heart underground, waiting for the next inferno. Medicine cannot wash away the smell of necessary evil. Pride shrinks when success is defined by the number of survivors.
Evening brings no peace, only shadows that still breathe smoke.
Documentation becomes confession when no priest stands nearby.
Honor erodes fastest when confronted with unstoppable modern fire.
Nature attempts to heal, but only spreads the stench of war wider.
Chance becomes God. Fate's worshippers lie wherever debris decides.
We can't even hear the front line. What good are we doing here?
Strategy dies when communication drowns in noise and exhaustion.
Clarity costs innocence. Every clear view includes suffering too vivid.
Cut him off! Burn it back!
Control is illusion. Fire spreads by will beyond human command.
Anyone! Can anyone hear me?
Isolation turns brave men into ghosts before their deaths arrive.
Thanks. Figured you could use this more than me.
Routine rituals keep madness at bay for another trembling minute.
Evidence gathers, yet never captures the weight of human screams.
Darkness becomes ally and enemy, both blind and merciful.
Hell is built by engineers and entered by order, not sin.
Hope burns brightest when it forgets what follows the light.
Command, this is Meza. Do you read? Over.
Communication restores purpose, even when it only brings more death.
World exhales. The living mistake it for peace.
Appetite returns reluctantly, tasting ash more than victory.
Love survives distance, but falters under the weight of guilt.
Maintenance feels holy when machines outlive their makers each day.
Ambition persists, even when conscience begs for retreat.
Resistance returns. Destruction always invites its reflection.
Torch that trench, now! Instinct replaces thought. Survival devours morality without pause.
Some sounds stay forever, engraved deeper than medals or scars. The line between victory and loss dissolves into the drifting ash.
Smoke conceals both enemy and conscience. Every step tests fragile sanity further.
Fear lives where light cannot reach, waiting for its next visitor.
Improvisation becomes doctrine when perfection burns too quickly to last.
The earth itself protests, coughing ash with every falling bomb.
Silence on the radio feels louder than any artillery barrage.
Eulogies shrink when time allows only 10 seconds of peace.
Leadership demands calm, while the mind screams for retreat.
Progress measured by distance lit, not by hearts spared or saved.
Repetition numbs fear. Routine disguises horror as simple duty.
Confusion becomes universal language when survival overrides understanding.
Machines receive tenderness soldiers have forgotten to give themselves.
Resupply feels like salvation, though it only fuels more destruction.
History begins recording before the present even ends its scream.
Chaos erases allegiance faster than any moral hesitation ever could.
Persistence hums quieter than courage, but lasts much longer in war.
Sleep becomes a stranger who visits only between bombardments.
Humanity flickers momentarily, hidden among fumes and ration tins.
Honor meets its test, not in courage, but in recognition of futility.
The ground remembers every step, long after names are forgotten.
Defeat weighs lighter than guilt. Survival carries heavier chains.
Distance deceives, pretending peace exists somewhere beyond this view.
Logistics becomes bloodstream. Without it, steel turns to tomb.
Faith sounds hollow when heaven keeps its distance so persistently.
Words dissolve faster than promises,
when soaked in wartime salvation arrives in boats, but never brings the same men back.
Authority grants command, but denies the comfort of ignorance forever.
Back home, echoes of battle ring louder inside the mind.
Inheritance of machines means inheriting ghosts embedded in steel.
Information crawls forward slower than the spreading fields of fire.
Pain equalizes ranks faster than any uniform could ever hope.
New objectives are as follows.
Orders travel fast. Empathy rarely keeps pace with them.
Sleep offers replay instead of rest, editing nothing from memory.
Earth buries secrets eagerly, unwilling to distinguish right from wrong.
Art survives even here, documenting beauty born entirely of horror.
Briefly, but never enough to cleanse this ground.
Caution replaces bravery. Survival becomes the only remaining virtue.
Mortality interrupts sentences more abruptly than punctuation ever will.
Briefly, neither aware of the other.
Hope communicates in flashes, fragile against overwhelming horizon.
Nature observes silently, recording crimes in rings of dead wood.
Comradeship remains the last shelter from unbearable reflection. Even the defeated seek meaning within untranslatable fragments of regret.
Relief falls gently, unaware of the wasteland waiting below.
Progress defined by color, not the cost behind each inch.
Another day ends, yet the fire beneath the earth still breathes.
Every shadow carries a memory. Every silence hides unspoken fear beneath.
Machines fatigue slower than men, yet demand devotion just the same.
Messages survive explosions, but their meaning burns with every mile.
Protection becomes relic. Memory becomes weight no one can discard.
Creation and repair blur together under the indifferent rhythm of weather. Even in despair, resistance rallies for one more futile stand.
Sector 4, enemy advance. Request immediate support.
War speaks too loudly for truth to find its way through.
Visibility fades. Faith becomes navigation by instinct and habit alone.
Destruction gains momentum. Morality trails blind in choking dust.
Reality blurs when seen through glass, scorched by its own heat.
Peace negotiates seconds at a time in the vocabulary of flares.
Recognition flickers, but the universe demands continuation, not mercy.
Preparation ends instantly when chaos chooses its next coordinates.
Weather feels sentient, weeping for those too numb to join.
Faith trembles under rain, yet still lifts its fragile voice upward.
Symbolism replaces substance. Terrain offers no comfort for victory.
Air becomes salvation, though it smells only of blood and fuel.
Courage mistaken for denial ends where smoke consumes the horizon.
Emotion forbidden. Numbers protect sanity better than compassion could.
Darkness retreats unwillingly, leaving behind melted testimonies of fear. Secrets die quickly when truth requires only oxygen to vanish.
Conquest feels hollow. Silence louder than cheers could ever be. Healing here means preventing death, not restoring what was lost.
Communication remains fragile thread between chaos and comprehension.
Respect persists, even when identity dissolves under heat and time.
History edits itself kindly for those far from smoke and screams. Beauty performs indifferently, unaware of the dead watching below.
Exploration becomes archaeology of the freshly deceased and forgotten.
War collects artifacts randomly, redefining innocence as collateral.
Innovation never sleeps. Guilt simply shares its workspace quietly beside.
Truth diluted by distance feels easier to digest at night.
Continuity proves resilience, though ghosts still linger in bolts.
Ceasefire by weather grants the illusion of mercy, briefly shared. Nature reclaims everything, painting decay as if it were art.
Homefront victory dances blind, unseeing the smoldering truth abroad.
Documentation fights forgetfulness, even as smoke obscures every sentence. Endings refuse arrival. Repetition sustains the myth of purpose. Tiny flaws ignite fates. Maintenance becomes religion under pressure.
Solitude feels safest when surrounded by predictable machines of war.
Humanity flickers stubbornly, where ideology has completely burned away.
Instinct continues indifferent to politics, mourning only hunger. Earth's core mirrors mankind's rage, eternal and self-consuming alike.
Recognition travels faster than remorse across military frequencies.
Memory loses clarity, leaving behind only stains shaped like words. Victory repeated until it sounds routine, dulling both pride and grief. Momentum replaces meaning. Objectives consume their makers entirely. Surrender feels heavier than combat, carrying unspent courage inside.
When noise ends, conscience speaks loudest in the hearts of survivors.
The ocean reflects fire's memory, calm only in appearance tonight. The battlefield exhales quietly, hiding pain beneath its smoldering calm.
War ends in arithmetic, tallying losses as though numbers heal wounds.
Defeat walks upright. Dignity, surviving even beneath lowered flags.
Departure sounds triumphant, though every lift carries fragments of sorrow.
No side wins
where the soil itself refuses to bear witness.
Art crawls out of chaos, sketching beauty over endless gray.
Movement resumes even when purpose has quietly departed long before.
Retreat disguised as victory feels lighter only for the distance gained.
Machines leave footprints that tides promise to erase without memory.
Farewell tastes bitter when ghosts remain behind unfinished conversations.
Home lies somewhere beyond horizon, imagined cleaner than it will be.
Deafens those still hearing echoes of fire and scream.
Perfection loses meaning once its consequences become too visible.
Creation's aftermath looks deceptively peaceful under fluorescent light. Remembrance becomes ritual, teaching the living to carry absence gracefully.
Honor shines cold, reflecting both pride and unbearable memory together.
Documentation immortalizes faces while erasing the tremor behind them. Peace feels foreign, like an unfamiliar uniform against the skin.
Joy and ignorance share the same rhythm, drumming against conscience.
Artifacts replace explanations. Silence curates what memory cannot bear.
Steel glows softly, unaware it once defined terror and triumph alike.
Learning feels safe when confined behind glass and narration.
Touch bridges decades, electricity of memory flowing through scars. Forgiveness weighs more than guilt, but lifts easier once spoken aloud.
We did what we thought was necessary at the time.
Responsibility endures. Invention outlives intent, for better or worse.
Education sanitizes horror, translating screams into digestible lessons.
Still see the fire, don't you, old-timer? Camaraderie ages gracefully. Trauma never learns to retire.
Peace feels heavier than battle when conscience remains undefeated.
No, get away!
Sleep reopens doors memory pretends were already sealed forever.
Words attempt reconciliation where governments fear to tread aloud. Two nations' wounds shrink briefly into a single act of understanding. History breathes differently when former enemies share the same silence.
Why did the tanks need fire, Mommy?
Innocence seeks logic, where adults built only necessity and regret.
That's a difficult question. They used fire to try and stop the fighting.
Truth edited for age still trembles between explanation and apology.
Memory sleeps each night, but never dreams without the sound of war.
History rewinds endlessly, projecting pain in monochrome for comfort.
Language fails. Numbers again shoulder the burden of remembrance.
Beneath still surface lie echoes of engines, fear, and fading faith.
Justification whispers softer each year, replaced slowly by reflection.
Time performs quiet justice, dismantling what men once glorified.
Study transforms horror into data, safe but strangely hollow.
Nature continues the ceremony, uninvited yet most sincere mourner.
Legacy passes pain gently, turning trauma into empathy through time.
Was it ever justifiable to use flamethrowers?
Morality resurrects itself when generations dare to question the past.
Names listed again, now safe within the order of history's frame.
Acceptance replaces pride. Memory forgives what survival could not.
Artifacts breathe faintly, carrying whispers of the men within. The world begins anew, pretending the lessons will finally remain.
Every war ends twice. Once in battle, once in collective memory.
We remember not the flames, but the hands that dared create them.